us chasing Sifuna from the party. And the reason is because I knew by the nature of his politics, he was bound at some point to leave. Yeah. But when we mistreat somebody, then we make him a hero. We have created a hero out of Sifuna. I'm not saying he's not a hero, but he wasn't what he is now.
North Member of Parliament Millie Odhiambo has fired a blunt warning into the heart of the Orange Democratic Movement, telling the party that its mishandling of internal dissent has manufactured a political hero out of Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, and that the pattern of mistreatment could tear the party apart.
That I had warned even against us chasing Sifuna from the party. And the reason is because I knew by the nature of his politics, he was bound at some point to leave. Yeah. But when we mistreat somebody, then we make him a hero. We have created a hero out of Sifuna. I'm not saying he's not a hero, but he wasn't what he is now. Our mistreating Sifuna is what has made Sifuna a hero. So let us be careful the way we are dealing with our issues.
Speaking during a public address in our constituency on a Sunday, April 26, 2026, Odhiambo pulled back the curtains on what she described as a dangerous circle where the party's rough treatment of its own members end up gifting them a political status they never had before. The timing of Odhiambo's remarks was everything. Our warning came just hours after the ODM Linda Mwananchi faction, with Sifuna named as its Secretary General, held a tremendous rally in Kisumu, where Siaya Governor, also James Orengo, declared a parallel leadership and a 2027 presidential bid. Sifuna himself used that platform to thunder against any cooperation with the Kenya Kwanza administration, calling them criminals. Odhiambo was now stepping forward to explain, not as a detached observer but as a battle-scared insider, that this explosion was entirely predictable and to a significant degree self-inflicted by the party's establishment. Millie Odhiambo revealed that she had long seen this moment coming and had issued a private warning that were ignored. She had cautioned the party against pushing Sifuna out. She explained, because anyone who understands his political nature could tell Sifuna was bound to leave at some point anyway. The mistake was not in disagreeing with him, but in handling him in a way that turned the internal disagreement into a public spectacle of perception. By cornering Sifuna, the party handed him a narrative of maidom that he could carry straight to the reception base, and that base is now rallying behind him with a fervor that would have been unmistakable a year ago. Millie Odhiambo's message was stuck. The party created the very figure it now fears. To drive the point home, Millie Odhiambo did not stop at Sifuna. She turned the spotlight on her own experience, recounting how her attempts to raise internal concerns in the past were met with threats, intimidation, and even physical violence. She disclosed that when she previously raised critical issues, goons were sent to beat her and she was shouted down by a hostile crowd in Kisumu. The admission was a damning portrait of a party culture that pushes or punishes internal voices instead of hearing them, and it gave a warning about Sifuna the weight of lived experience rather than a mere commentary. She was not just defending Sifuna. She was describing a systemic failure that she herself had survived. Supporting this position from within the Linda Mwananchi camp, Sifuna allied have quickly moved to frame his elevation as a return to ODM founding ideals. In recent days, Sifuna has publicly invoked the memory of Raila Odinga, claiming that the former party leader personally instructed him to defend justice and equality. That appeal to Raila's legacy is a powerful piece of a political branding. It transforms Sifuna's rebellion from a personal ambition into a sacred mission, making any attack on him appear as an attack on Raila's own unfinished work. Combined with Millie Odhiambo's warning about manufactured heroes, the picture becomes clear. The faction now sees itself not as a breakaway, but the authentic custodian of the party's soul, pushed out by leaders that lost its way. The wider development propelling this entire story is the unresolved and increasingly bitter succession war tearing through ODM as the 2027 general elections approach. One side stand with the Linda Mwananchi faction rallying behind Orengo, Sifuna, Babu Wino and others, demanding a hardline opposition stance and rejecting any disalliance with the ruling UDA. On the other side sits a rival camp accused by the faction of steering the party into a quiet agreement with State House and selling the community's political birthright. Between them are figures like Millie Odhiambo, who still insist on their loyalty to ODM but are now openly warning that the party internal machinery is broken and driving away the very talent it needs to survive. Odhiambo's final warning shot was a call for internal party democracy and discipline, but beneath the measured language was a clear political threat. If the party does not change how it manages conflicts, she suggested it will keep creating heroes out of those it mistreated, and each new hero will arrive with a ready-made following and legitimate grievances. The lesson from the Sifuna saga is that political mayhem is a powerful fuel, and ODM has just poured it generously on its own fire. As the 2027 countdown begins, the question haunting the party is no longer whether it can stop the harmony of talent, but whether the leaders it has turned into heroes are now bigger than the party itself.